Today, I'm going to share 6 mental frameworks that allow me to get into my dream medical school and how you can apply them into your own personal life. If you don't know me, my name is Hazel, and I'm an incoming medical student, nonprofit founder, and author. And from a very young age, I knew that I wanted to become a doctor. From experiencing the traumatic effects of gang violence on the streets of my home country of El Salvador, I saw how the lack of healthcare accessibility and the lack of medical resources really affect my personal life and the life of my loved ones, specifically on the definitions of life and death. So I came here to the United States to get my bachelor's degree and now attend medical school. But somewhere during college, this clarity, this clear goal started to become a little bit blurry. Not because I stopped wanting it, but because I started listening to the wrong voices. This was the opinions of people around me, people that I trusted and that called themselves experts in the matter, kept telling me the same thing over and over again. They kept telling me that I was not competitive enough, that my background and experiences were a complete disadvantage to the admission process, and that ultimately I will never get into medical school. And while I didn't fully believe them, there was something about it that pushed me to keep thinking about it. So I began convincing myself that maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't competitive enough. And overall, I was not the kind of applicant that I will ever get into their medical school. So instead of putting my application together, I keep postponing the decision on the hopes that one day I will become the ideal applicant. First of all, I realized that this was my personal life, and no matter what these people were telling me or how many years of expertise there were, this was my life, and it was my responsibility to make the most of it. So the first thing that I did was to change my identity by changing my mentality. And this is a sudden, perhaps too philosophical, too esoterical of a thought, but it really helped me. What I did was that instead of seeing this as a big goal far in the distance, in the distant future, I started looking at things as something that was written in stone, something that will actually happen in my life. And that one day I will become the doctor that will help dozens of patients and improve the quality of their life. And this was going to happen no matter what. And this shift made the real difference. That I reduce friction. And maybe you guys don't know, but applying to medical school in the United States can take 1 year to a year and a half between the day you submit your application to the day you start classes. And the process is insane. So in this entire process, I had to reduce friction because what mattered to me was to make progress instead of remain in stagnation. So make sure that everything, my computer and my desk, were absolutely available to me so I could get the work done. Her mental shift was the idea that there's no tomorrow, and this is inspired on Rocky, and the idea that what will happen if there's actually no tomorrow? Will you be proud of the work that you did today, that you did yesterday? Will you be content? Will you be satisfied with what you have achieved? And it's not necessarily financially, but with the life that you have achieved. And this is because for the longest time I procrastinated taking the first step. Another important shift that came from letting go from the idea of tomorrow, the idea of a safety net rather, is that I stopped thinking that I had this safety net and I just made the first step. Imperfect, but I just took the first step, and the procrastination that we put into achieving the goals and the life that we really want is often where we send the things that we're afraid to do today. So I told myself that this was my only chance to give it a shot and actually get in. And if I didn't get in, then I will just continue with my current career and forget about it. So I created this urgency that forced me to act and give all I had. You shouldn't worry about failure. You should just do it for the sake of trying. Even when I took the first step, I was still feeling anxious. And it's because I had this fear of failure that maybe I wouldn't get in, no matter how how much I try, this fear was still in the back of my head. And I was uncomfortable with the idea of putting myself out there. But I also knew that if I never try, that if I never put myself out there, even if it was an imperfect application with all that I have, I knew that I will regret it for the rest of my life. So instead of waiting for the fear and this anxiety that was in the back of my head to go away, I moved forward with it. I accepted that discomfort. I accepted, that this is just a process that you have to go through. And I remember myself that someone who keeps trying never loses. That mindset allowed me to use my anxiety again to fuel my actions instead of stopping me from taking action. And honestly, this shift in mentality helped me not just in this big goal, but I was able to write my book and work with dozens of families through my nonprofit. And it was because I simply enjoy the present rather. I know that I don't have that many views and I really don't care, but whoever is listening to this video, I really want to tell you that no matter what's happening in your life, if you just trust yourself and you just trust that everything will be all right and do your best, I'm pretty sure that you will also achieve what you want for your life. Because as I said before, if you keep trying, there's no way you're going to lose at this game. So I want you to share in the comments or send me an email to share what you're working on, and I will cheer you on. And I believe that if you put your mind into it and you go full force at it, you will achieve exactly what you want. So keep going, and I see you in the next video. Bye.